Now, today I have with me something that I've been wanting to get for a very long time. And last year when they had their Black Friday sale, I decided to go ahead with the purchase. And this right here is the Anova Precision Oven, a home combi oven for the home or professional cook. Now, Anova as a brand has been pioneering the home sous vide arena primarily with their immersion circulators, which I myself have found to be very useful, but more so for higher end precision style cooking where I want absolute control over a cooking environment for a particular ingredient. For the record, combi ovens are not cheap. They're generally for commercial use, and as its name suggests, it's an oven with a combination of different functions. So it got me really excited that I could potentially get a home-sized combi oven with the precision of a sous vide tool at a fraction of the price of a commercial combi oven. Alright, quick rundown. This oven here pushes 220 volts and comes with a UK plug, so suitable for many of us in Southeast Asia. There's two heating elements, one at the top and one at the rear with its fan, each pushing out about 1600 watts each. Now it also has a detachable 5-litre water tank over here and a steam boiler to produce steam for humidity control based cooking. Now the oven features a touchscreen display for settings alongside an app to do it remotely. Now the touchscreen display is alright, but it does get a little annoying when you're trying to press short or long presses but you just miss your target, and when you're trying to dial it back it just doesn't respond sometimes. To take out the app to do that kind of setting for a short cooking is a little bit troublesome, and I think something analog or something a bit more receptive would have been much better. The app is not too bad, but it is a little cluttered. There are a bunch of recipes inside there, but I just don't intuitively want to use them. The app does come with some presets for dehydrating, proofing breads, air frying, baking, broiling, you name it, right? But personally, I find those presets redundant in an oven like this where you're supposed to dial in the exact temperatures and settings that you want. Now, the stage cooking function in the app is quite useful if you need to cook something with different temperature processes, like maybe a chicken at 65 degrees Celsius first and then subsequently roasting it at 250 for a crispy exterior skin. Now, the oven comes with two different racks and a single tray. You can also add on a steam tray from their website as well, but you can just get any perforated tray and that would work. The oven also comes with a probe thermometer which you can connect into the oven and perform core temperature based cooking to a specific final temperature. Now personally, this is something I don't really use, but I can definitely see people enjoying using this function for something like a roast chicken, right? The Anova Precision Oven covers all the traditional settings you would find in an oven like roasting, baking, broiling, but with additional features like sous vide, convection baking, air frying effectively, reheating, and more as a result of humidity plus precision temperature control. In my user tests and experience, it does a great job with temperature control and serving as a decked out oven, right? The oven preheats really fast and gets to the desired temperature really quickly. It just took me around 5 minutes to reach 250 degrees Celsius from room temperature. The great thing about the oven is that I can perfectly set temperatures of the cooking environment within the oven and cook foods to exact temperatures that I want. Now, this coupled with sous vide cooking, you're creating a fixed temperature environment which the food in question slowly reaches the target temperature, creating an edge-to-edge consistent finish in terms of doneness. Whether it's roasting a leg of lamb, making egg custards, or just reheating food, the oven really performed well based on the exact settings that I know I want. The other novel feature with the Anova Precision Oven is the humidity control setup. Now, this allows you to create a humid environment to minimize water loss or even steam foods. Now, higher humidity also speeds up the rate of heat transfer within the oven itself, mainly because there's just more particle density within the cooking environment itself. Now, for those of you who bake breads, this also helps with oven spring and the rise in breads in the baking process. Now, in my test, the humidity function here does not work the same way as a steam oven would. In traditional steam ovens, it automatically goes to 100 degrees Celsius and it spurts out steam, which, by the way, the Anova app has a preset for. But if you're trying to set a low temperature and a specific humidity, don't always expect steam or moisture to be spurted out inside the oven. So the way the oven actually works is that it compares the internal humidity, and if the internal humidity is already at or above a set humidity level, it will not produce any additional moisture. Now, this is going to be a bit more tricky for people who stay in a tropical climate like me, where humidity is already at 81% at any given moment. So while comparing it to a traditional steamer, it's not really an apple-to-apple comparison, but this humidity setup is great for breads, cooking rice and reheating foods. If you know the exact temperature of the fish in question that you want to get done at, right, sous vide cooking, you can also kind of do like a hybrid sous vide steam mode within this oven itself, which I've tested to work out fantastic. In short, this is a great combi oven. It's fantastic for those of us who know exactly what temperatures we want our food at. But that's the thing, if you are not that kind of a cook, this really isn't the oven for a young, novice, beginner cook who don't really know exactly what temperatures you want to play with your food at, right? And understandably, not everyone wants to cook their chicken to exactly 65 degrees Celsius. So in that sense, this oven is a poor smart oven. It can't auto-detect the food that you're cooking, and it can't automatically set or finish the dish to a preset doneness that some of these smart ovens in the market can actually do. Now, one of my biggest gripe with the oven is the fact that it doesn't automatically shut off with this oven. So when your timer runs out, the oven doesn't just turn off, it continues running at the same temperature you left it at. So if you're not careful, this can lead to food burning or scorching unknowingly, and that has definitely happened to me. Now, like I mentioned, sous vide with this oven is great, but for foods with a lot of fat like lamb, I still would prefer to use a standard sous vide setup with a water bath, especially for items that will be sous vide for more than 24 hours. I sous vide a leg of lamb in this oven for 24 hours and it took me forever to get rid of the smell of lamb fat from the oven. But for small items like fish or chicken, it's nice to be able to not, set up an entire water bath with bags and whatnot. Now, speaking about cleaning the oven really isn't that difficult. All you gotta do is just open the oven up, get a cleaning agent of sort, whether it's a spray or whether it's just typical soap. All you gotta do is just soap it around, give it a wipe, right? And then turn on the steam function for a bit and just let it steam for a good 5 to 10 minutes to get rid of the excess soap and let it pool at the bottom. And then you just follow that up with wiping it down and then just finishing it by roasting it. Now, if you're trying to get rid of odor from the oven from a previous bake, you're gonna need to have time with this, but a good way to get started for most of the smell is to get it on 250 degrees Celsius and bake it for 45 minutes to get rid of most of the volatile compounds. One big major question I got was, is this better than an air fryer? And honestly, no, it's not a great air fryer. There are just too much internal space for this to be as efficient as a typical air fryer. But with the oven, it's really a give and take, because if you're cooking for a small number of servings, let's say 2 to 3 individuals at most, get an air fryer, it makes so much more sense. But if you are doing something larger, this oven wins hands down. Even though it takes a bit more time, the precision settings, the control that you have with this combi oven, just for me outweighs the convenience you get with an air fryer. Another major key question I got was, is this suitable for sourdough baking? And the short answer to that is absolutely yes. The precise temperature and humidity control allows for a fantastic bake with oven spring, proofing, and not to mention the size of this oven actually allows for an 8-inch cast iron pan to bake your breads in alongside with the steam to provide extra lift to the bread. So definitely a huge winner for home bakers out there looking to up their home baking game. There's the issue of price, right, with anything. This oven over here costs around $600 at retail. I bought it back during a Black Friday sale last year. With shipping and import tax included, I paid around 3,700 ringgit, which is still relatively okay or fair compared to some of the other competitors in the market. And on the other hand, if you're comparing this to a combi oven, it's definitely much cheaper. So yeah, that's the Anova Precision Oven for you. It's a great home combi oven for pro home cooks, but a really bad smart oven. Now, I'd really like to know how many of you actually do own this, and whether for those of you who don't, would you consider buying it? For those of you who do own it, let me know, how do you find it? Do you have anything that I missed out here? And do you have anything that you love about this oven? If you enjoyed this review, consider giving it a like. And I do plan to make more kitchen equipment reviews. In fact, we have more coming up. And if you'd like to check those videos out, do subscribe so that you'll be notified when they drop. And I'll see you next time. Ciao!